In this video, I'm going to show you how to steal like an artist, meaning seeing what other successful sellers are doing and reverse engineering their process into our storefront. This is what real sellers are doing every day to shortcut the process, and this is what I've been doing for the past 3 years. So just this video alone, you could probably be on your way to doing $30,000 a month in Amazon by just doing this single strategy. If you don't know by now, my name is jayslarosa and I am traveling full-time while running my Amazon FBA business. I'll be having new Amazon FBA content coming out every other day for the rest of your life. All right, let's dive right on into it. So as you can see here, this is an Amazon listing, right? And all the information is kind of right in front of you. Now, ideally, when you do this process, you want to have a quality Amazon listing to your criteria and what you're looking for and the total amount of price and the total amount of volume that's going on. But you want to have a quality listing to start basically stealing like an artist. And I'm going to show you why in just a second. But what pops up here on the right is this software that's going to help us steal like an artist. It's 20 bucks a month and it can make you an infinite amount of money. So it's super, super worth it, right? Not only is this software, SellerAmp is the title of it, used for calculating profit and potential profit, how much you can make on every product that you sell here on Amazon. As I open up the extension here on the Amazon's, on this listings page, we're going to dive into SellerAmp to see who else is selling this product, how many units they have in stock, what are their ratings, and all the information that we may possibly need to go look at these other sellers in their storefronts, right? So as you go here on SellerAmp, you're going to scroll down here towards the bottom, right? And you're going to go on here, and as you run your cursor from top to bottom across the offer count, which the offer count basically means seller, because every seller has their own offer. Now, every seller has their own offer because they have their own pricing, they have their amount of units. Every seller is different, right? So Amazon calculates it or titles it as an offer, right? So as I run my cursor down from top to bottom, we're going to see all of these different types of seller selling this exact product, whether they have inventory at their house or their warehouse, or they have it at Amazon's warehouse, right? Because remember, that's FBM versus FBA. Either they have the stock themselves or Amazon's holding the stock, right? So running the cursor down, we have Lotus Lifestyle. They have 10 reviews. We have Prime Collection Depot, 15 reviews. Now guys, this is all third-party sellers, people like you and I that are selling on this marketplace. This isn't big businesses or big corporations, and there's not a necessity to be one of those. These sellers who have 1 review, 2 reviews, they're probably operating out of a house or out of a, just getting started into the business, right? So as I continue to run my cursor, 12 reviews, 3 reviews, Deal Choice LLC, Cozy Cave Shop. Many of these people are just individuals. They don't even have a business or some type of corporation across their Amazon business, right? So Bold Bazaar LLC, he has no reviews, so he really just got started. Bucky City Bargains, right? All smaller sellers, right? So now we have the data basically of all these sellers just off of a glimpse of how many reviews they have, how big they are in the marketplace, and how much stock they have on this specific listing. So now here's where the trick comes in. Here's where the key comes in. This is exactly how you can steal like an artist, by doing this simple process. You click on the seller, right? You click on the seller to see their storefront, right? You open up their storefront. Let's let it load here for a second. And now we can see every product that this seller is selling, right? So considering that we find a quality source listing, a first listing that we're on, right? As I go back here on the Amazon page, like I mentioned, you want to have a quality first listing that you're working with, right? Because if this listing's quality and it checks out to you, has a good sales volume, it has a good price, then we feel confident stealing like an artist from those sellers, because we know that they're successful in the marketplace and they're successful in the Amazon business. So we want to follow the people who are doing it successful. We don't want to look at listings that are doing no good or not quality. We want to find the successful listings, right? So let's dive back into these guys' storefronts. Now, for this listing, this was just a random search, so we can't tell for sure. And obviously everybody has different qualities and criterias on whether it's a good listing or a bad listing. But for this example, we're just going to reverse source all of these sellers, or as many as we can through this video, to actually try to find some winning products here. And it can happen just in the next 15 minutes, right? So like I mentioned, these are all the listings that this seller is selling, right? You can see Nike men's socks, Nike men's black socks, and then he has sneakers here at the bottom, Cloud Runner sneakers. Now, for me personally, I don't work in the clothing category. I don't work in the shoe category. And I recommend you don't, because that market is very hard to grow on the marketplace, right? It's very hard to get through. And there's a lot of returns and there's a lot of liabilities. You want to find brands that you can find trusted opportunities with, long-term opportunities. Everybody has different priorities and different categories. But for me, I'm not going to work into this category, right? So before I even start reverse selling a good seller, I don't want to work on this seller because just doesn't fit my niche. I want to find someone who fits my niche and my type of products, right? So I'm going to dive back into the original source site here with Amazon, right? I'm going to move myself to the left here, and I'm going to go on to a new seller, right? Because I want to find another seller who could potentially sell products, who's selling products that I can also sell, right? So look, for example, let's go through Bamboo Distributor, right? He looks like he has a good opportunity. Now, what gives you little tells on what might be a good opportunity is their ratings, their review count. If they're a 5-star seller with under 100 reviews, chances are the products that they're selling, they're not that hard for us to also acquire. Whether they're buying from a retailer store or a wholesaler, we can probably also acquire those same exact products from this seller, right? So I'm going to go onto his storefront. For his case scenario, he had 12 reviews, right? And we're going to go through the products that he's selling. Now, just off a glimpse, I'm seeing a lot of shoes. I see a little bit of clothing in the top here. I think that's even boots for $110. But okay, so he has some type of whatever this is some type of liquid for people, some vitamin liquid. All right. And now let's say, for example, right, this fits my quality. This has a good price. It has really good volume, right? 3K sales a month. And it's already checking off the 2 boxes that I hope that it would check off. But now let's look at the other sellers on this listing. Because before we even look into a deep dive into the listing, open it up and click on this button here, which basically opens up the Amazon listing. Let's just look at what the other sellers are doing, because you can get a sneak peek without wasting your time, and you're doing it so efficiently and basically shortcutting the process by just saying, okay, let me just briefly check what these other sellers, if they're smaller sellers, if they fit our criteria, if they're kind of in the range of business that we're looking to do. So here we go. We have the good news. He has 58 reviews, 10 units in stock. We have Mitch and Jers Ventures, 38 reviews. Okay, 17 units in stock. Okay, so these are smaller sellers here in this listing. So this is an opportunity for us to approach this listing, potentially open it up in a different tab, which I'm going to do here. And let's do a deeper dive where we actually reverse source the Keepa. We look at the Keepa chart and all the other analytics, right? But as you can see, just over the last 3 minutes, I found a seller. I've looked through his storefront. I've chosen one product that he's selling in his storefront, and I've now opened it up onto a new page on Amazon, right? So now that I had this seller on a new page here on Amazon, we have this new page opened up here on Amazon. Now we have an opportunity to analyze this listing and see if it's actually quality enough for us to purchase it. Because if all the data and metrics according to our preferences check out here in this listing, meaning pricing, meaning number of sellers, diving into the Keepa chart, which I have an entire video on, and I'll have more and more and more videos on for you guys to learn it. But if all the metrics are checking out, now we can actually try to go and find a supplier for this listing. And all we did to find this potential product and potential listing that we found, we just basically stole like an artist from that potential seller to basically open up this listing and have an opportunity to now find a supplier to buy this product at a profitable price and start selling on Amazon. Now, we're not done here yet though. What we're going to do is, although none of his other listings here check out for us on his storefront, I'm not interested in selling shoes. I'm not interested in selling a shirt or this Jellycat product here at the bottom. Now, we still have 10 or so other sellers to work through on our original source site that basically started this stealing like an artist. We're going to dive back into the original source site here, which is a White Lotus plant energy drink, right? And we're going to go through a new seller to see if we can find some products from their storefront. So here I'm going to click on Deal Choice LLC. So ideally, what you want to do is you want to take that first listing that you found, that potential listing, right? Because remember, the metrics checked out very, prematurely by seeing the SellerAmp's information and by making sure that, okay, it checks out at a base level for us, considering that the pricing worked, the number of sellers worked, the reviews for the seller worked, right? So it checked out, but then you want to take a deeper dive onto the listing and do a full analysis on the Keepa chart and any of the other metrics to then go find the supplier. Because before you move on to the next seller to start stealing like an artist and reverse sourcing, you want to stick to that seller and you want to try to go, stick to that product, and try to actually find a successful source site or supplier, whether it's wholesale or OA from a retailer, and try to find something to buy, then list it in your inventory and start the selling process to make money. But once you're finished with that product, just move on to the next seller, as we're going to do here, and we're going to go here to reverse source new products from new sellers, right? Here we are. This is another storefront, right? We're gonna go down exactly like we did with the other sellers. Hopefully he has a few more products that we like to start reverse sourcing and stealing like an artist for his storefront. Now, as we go here, here's the top product. This is the one we found. And guys, remember, the initial source site that was our main source site that we used, that main Amazon listing, that we used to find that potential product or to find other sellers, that was not a quality site, right? That wasn't in our preferences. That wasn't something that we were interested in selling, right? Because it just didn't work out for us. But if we had a product that, or a listing on Amazon that was in fact in our criteria, or we actually liked it, and there was 15 or 20 sellers on there also selling it, you can find endless or unlimited amount of products from those sellers, because chances are those sellers align with our beliefs and mentality on what we're buying here on Amazon. So we can basically just continue to copy or follow their process and take it into our storefront. Find the listings they're selling, find the source sites of the suppliers they're buying from, and do the same thing that they're doing, and basically just share buy box to win the sales and success, right? Back into it here. Now we have these products here. Let's do very quick sources. We have Ernex tabs, coffee brewer tablets. We're gonna run down this list here. We have peptide lip tint. We have Glop and Clam better conditioner, right? So you can see there's a number of products, and these actually align a little bit better with what I'm looking to work with and what you guys are hopefully looking to work with rather than clothes and such. But you're getting the data basically instantly right in front of you. You're seeing how much it's selling a month, 300 times a month. You're seeing how many other sellers. So depending if you want a listing with 30 sellers or 10 sellers, you're getting that data instantly. And you're seeing what the price that it's selling at, right? And if you want to take it even a step further, you can actually analyze, like we did before, how much stock and which sellers are in the top 5, basically pricing metrics with their reviews and how much stock they have, right? So you're doing like this instant search of gathering data and information without wasting your time. So you can see if you stuck to this with 3 hours or 4 hours or 8 hours, you can actually end up having a list of 15 to 20 products that you actually want to sell. And then within that list, you can break down, hey, these are the top 5 products that I want to test buy and sell through and do more of what actually worked, right? So going through it again, this is their storefront. They have many products here, potential products that we can buy that are in our price range, that are according to our quality metrics, and we're evaluating these products successfully. So now, as I've mentioned before, if this product turns out to be quality in my eyes, right? It has good pricing, it has a good number of sellers, which it doesn't because there's too many sellers here for me to approach this product. It has good volume though, right? So this checks out. And the buy box winner, or the people in the buy box, are actually at a good ratings review. So that means we can compete at a good level. I would actually open up this listing here, this Amazon listing, take it to a new page, right? And basically do a deep evaluation of the Keepa chart and everything else here, right? So what we would do there is we would do a big evaluation on the Keepa chart, the listing, the product, and then we would go in to find a supplier, guys, right? So you want to find the quality product that you basically stealing like an artist from these other sellers. And then you are stealing like an artist here, looking at suppliers and what products that they're selling. And according to their criteria, you're then analyzing the product and then going to find a supplier so that you can list it on Amazon and start selling it to make money, right? And if you spent hours and hours and hours of this in the early days of doing Amazon, and you continue to focus on this, continue to find sellers who are doing it successfully and then following their process, you're going to continue to find success. And can you imagine if you do this through 10 storefronts or 10 listings? And then going through 20 seller storefronts and 25 and 30 and so on, you're going to continuously find products from other sellers without having to actually just manually do sourcing or do, go on software, which products do good in volume, so and so. You basically just use the data that's right in front of you from other sellers and start finding success. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. As I've mentioned, I'll be having new Amazon FBA content and e-commerce content coming out every other day for the foreseeable future. See you for now.